Thursday, February 21st, going live in 3, 2, 1. StarCast is proudly sponsored by DoghouseSystems.com. If you use the code StarCast or Biscuit at checkout, you will get double memory on your next Doghouse system. And also TweakedAudio.com. Go to TweakedAudio.com for high-performance noise-reducing earbuds. Use our code StarCast and get 30% off plus free shipping on your entire order. And finally, SC2QuoteOfTheDay.com. Daily quotes from the StarCraft 2 community. The site may suck, but the quotes are sick. And make sure to go check out their t-shirts in their new store. Once again, that's SC2QuoteOfTheDay.com, and we thank them for their support. Sponsor an episode of StarCast at thestarcast.com.
Hell, it's about damn time for StarCast.
Incoming transmission.
Biscuit.
Welcome back, everyone, to episode 140 of StarCast, the StarCraft podcast. I'm Garrett Weinzierl, and joining me, as always, is Kyle Ferguson. Welcome, Kyle. How are you doing on this, this just regular kind of unassuming Thursday evening?
I know, it's kind of frightening. We have no guests tonight. It's just us hanging out old times. And you sounded a bit daunted by the 140. It is an impressive number.
Every time we hit like a new 10, I'm just like, dear
wow.
God, have I really been doing this show that many weeks?
I know, it's great. I'm so excited. We got a 150 coming up. That's a number that matters.
That's a number that we probably will plan absolutely nothing for because it's 150. Who cares? We'll probably have an awesome guest. Who knows?
Yeah, but welcome back, chat room. We're doing a live show again, like live the week.
Oh
weeks
yeah.
ago. We're doing pre-record, and then last week there was no live show, which we pre-recorded on a Tuesday. So this has been like the longest week of my life. I always just classify my weeks with a Thursday StarCast, and things have just been off.
Yeah, really. Same here. You texted me last Wednesday, and you're like, dude, my brain is just like, we did StarCast last night. It's Friday, right?
Right.
Nope, it's the middle of the week, and you just get. Well, I think we need to stick to our schedule of our show just for our own mental sanity.
Absolutely.
It's ridiculous, man. So, anyways, that's fun. What's new with you?
Oh, I've been playing a lot of Faster Than Light because I've been getting schooled so super hard right now in Heart of the Swarm. I also majorly awkward social penguin myself in the foot this week. Getting all geared up.
I wasn't aware that awkward social penguins can be aimed like a gun, and to where you could actually hit yourselves in a specific,
I took it right
appendage.
to the face. Absolutely.
Oh, okay. All right.
I'm gearing up. I got my lovely girlfriend Kristen. I'm going to be proposing to her soon, and so I called up, the dad.
Wait a minute. You're announcing it on a public forum that you'll be proposing soon. Shouldn't this be a surprise?
She already knows this because
Okay.
she's psychic, 2, she's nosy, and 3, she's super smart. So at the beginning of this year, she was like, I'd like to get married this year. And I'm like, damn it, yeah, I was planning it anyway, but you already ruined it. She did the exact same thing when I asked her out. We were sitting on a swing, and she turns to me, and we were joking around or something, and she said something along the lines of, well, I guess you'd expect that of your awesome girlfriend. And I was like, oh, well, I guess since you're assuming, sure, you're my girlfriend. Didn't even get to ask her out. Now I don't even get to propose to her.
So you didn't even get to have the awkward teenager moment of, wait, you want to be my girlfriend now?
Was it teenage? I guess. Yeah.
How'd you guys meet?
Did
you guys meet in college?
Yeah. So I guess I was 19. I guess I was still in my
19.
teens.
Okay. Yeah. You'd still be technically a teen.
Yeah. So it was awkward. So I called up the dad, all prepared. Going to ask for permission. And first thing he does, apparently had my number saved. And you know how that goes, dude. You call someone, you don't expect them to be like, oh, hi, Kyle. And you're like, ah, crap, the whole intro's ruined. And I'm like, I was expecting to do like the, oh, mister, how you doing? Like, do that whole thing. But he just cuts me off, knowing who I am. And then I'm like, I immediately do he's like, oh, hey, how's it going, Kyle? And I'm like, oh, no. He said, what's up? And I'm like, good, I'm great. I mean, how are you? Crap. And then I'm like, oh, my God. I'm calling the dad randomly.
Oh my God, I'm in a Ryan Reynolds movie because I'm stuttering over myself.
Exactly, and I'm stuttering, and I seem nervous, and I'm randomly calling the dad. And the only other time I had done this was when she crashed my scooter and ended up bruising up her leg, and I had to take her to the hospital. I wanted to inform the dad. So I'm like, oh, damn it, I already ruined this, and I'm probably freaking the hell out of him. Eventually, I finally put the words together to ask for her hand, and like 30 seconds of dead silence, probably because he's recovering from his daughter not being in the hospital.
So what did he say? Is he cool, or was he just like, no, no daughter of mine is gonna marry a StarCraft addict?
Oh no, they love me.
Okay, all right.
I had to get over all that.
well, who couldn't? You're just like, Kyle, I would have said no, but since this is an audio-only format in which you're speaking, your voice is just so damn gorgeous.
But if I saw that face of yours, no.
It'd be a no. Well, that's great, dude. I'm really glad to. I would congratulate you, but nobody gets congratulated for getting the okay from a father to go ahead with a proposal. So I'll congratulate you once you've actually proposed.
He said yes. Wait a minute. That's fine.
Well, that's wonderful.
But hey,
I'm glad we got to kick off this week with a tale of love.
But leading into our show here, my honeymoon, which was sort of pre-planned because we've been talking, because she knows. She doesn't know when the proposal's happening, though, so I've still got that. I can still surprise her with that. But the honeymoon was going to end November 5th or so. So, hey, it's just going to end at BlizzCon.
That's wondrous. That's great. Oh, my God. I'm glad we're not sharing a hotel room. Oh man, it's funny. Now Kristen is gonna every time you take her out somewhere, she's gonna think, "Is this it? Is he gonna propose now? We're just going to freaking McDonald's. If he proposes at McDonald's, I'm gonna kick his ass."
I know, right? I've been thinking like I should set up all these like fake important dates along the way, like just plan random ass special dinners. Maybe like invite some like high school friends of hers to town and then just not do anything.
I wouldn't do that.
You can only keep that carrot on a stick so long.
Yeah, exactly. And also what you do to a person's chemistry, if they think they're going into this kind of life-changing moment and it ends up not happening, that's not cool.
Sure. Well, and we got a finite date here. I have 10? Yes, 10? 2? Yes, about 10 months. I have 10 months. And I want to give her, some time to engage and shit.
Wonderful. That's so freaking cool, dude. I'm glad to hear that.
Oh, thank you.
So, anyways, before we get into the news this week, I just wanted to announce that we have new stuff that you can buy to support the show. And that always makes everyone happy, right? Right? Yes. Yeah, you love buying stuff. We partnered with slashloot.com. That's not the character slash. It's actually spelt out SLASH loot.com, and they will be selling our new StarCast t-shirts that you can see right here if you're viewing the live stream or the video if this is on YouTube, wherever you're watching this. Anyways, it's a better print. We've got it actually matches like our overlay and everything now. I'm really stoked about this, so head on over there and check it out. I've also got the Tychus with the shutter shades on, the stem shades. That's another one of my designs, so you can pick that up also. So head on over to slashloot.com and pick up a new StarCast shirt. Very, very cool stuff. All right, let's get into the news this week. Kyle, you already kind of let the cat out of the bag. Of course, we're coming to you at a Thursday. This was announced, I think, Tuesday. And if you're a Blizzard fan and you didn't already know this, then shame on you. But BlizzCon 2013 has been officially announced. I mean, it was already officially announced that it was indeed happening, but now we have a date. It'll be going down on November 8th and 9th, I believe, correct?
Yes, 8th and 9th.
For whatever reason, it's not in the notes. Yes, 8th and 9th. So that's freaking awesome. They kind of did a bullet list of all the stuff you can expect there. It's pretty much the stuff you'd expect. You're going to be able to play all of their currently under development games that are announced.
Sure, bullet list is a little giving. I mean, if you handed this in as your rough draft to a teacher, she'd be pretty upset. Probably give you an F. Yeah. There's not much. It's cryptic.
Exactly. This is the global finals for Blizzard esports. That's all they say. They didn't specify what. I hope to God we get the GSL finals again there this year. That would be great.
Yeah, that'd be a great combination. I mean, we'll probably have another World Cup going on, the search for the best ladder player. So that's always exciting to have. People are predicting that we're going to get the WoW expansion announced there because 2 years ago we had Mists of Pandaria, 2 years before that. They're kind of down on their system. And Diablo expansion, hopefully. And everyone's going, ooh, Project Titan, but I doubt it.
I could see Project Titan going another year without being announced.
I would expect Project Titan if it is the middle ground conglomeration. Titan is the StarCraft, Warcraft, Diablo portal. That'd be kind of disappointing because we all want a new big IP game. But
we already know Titan's a next-gen MMO, though.
Yeah. Okay.
It's on their hiring page.
Oh yeah, that's right. I've seen
Titan next-gen MMO. Get on it. And what they have said is it is not a existing IP, so we're not getting a StarCraft MMO. But also they have been known to just lie to your face. So
yes,
I'm still crossing my fingers that they're lying to our face and it is a StarCraft MMO because I want to be a Marine.
Well, sure. It's kind of a rich world. I hope they wouldn't do any sort of like weird crossover world with space orcs and StarCraft running around the
basically
same
Warhammer
place.
40K. What you're saying?
Exactly. Yeah, that'd be kind of disappointing, but I doubt that'll happen.
No, it's not. I don't see that being. I mean, I have no idea what it is, but I know it's not going to be space orcs.
Yes.
And if it was space orcs, they'd probably find a way to do it like coolly. But if coolly is a word, it is if you subscribe to my favorite anime. Anyways, to talk about, you're going to have panel discussions with Blizzard game developers and artists. We kind of know that. Competitive and casual tournaments, community contests, yada, yada, yada. All the regular gamut of stuff. Kyle, my question to you, sir. Do you think we're going to see anything about Legacy of the Void at all?
Interesting.
Or you think this is going to be like the year that Wings of Liberty came out, where it was just kind of a celebration of the game, and there was really no news about what's coming next?
That's interesting. Because that you went to that BlizzCon, and that celebration was had a lot of spotlights on it, but it was a little lackluster because esports hadn't quite grown to what it is today.
No, but it was quite possibly one of the most fun things I've attended because since it wasn't so big, it was very easy to go in and mingle and meet people.
Yeah. So I'm expecting, a full schedule of esports tournaments and other sorts of things, and probably lots of balanced discussion at that point. I mean, we'll be in the thick of it half a year, definitely over half a year out. Yeah,
exactly. So I don't know. I mean, what could be cool is if we finally get like a release date for Blizzard All-Stars, for example. That could be something I would see where it's not technically, StarCraft specific news, but it's related.
Sure, and we know there's been a lot of changes to that too. We don't know what those are, but they've apparently made it a little more in-depth. Not particularly hardcore because they're avoiding the last hit and all those sort of things and focusing on more of a team atmosphere. But we know they've really delved into that.
Yeah. Yeah, I want to see how they're kind of changing it up. How they're making it still very competitive but more accessible. So, I don't know. I just know what we saw on the floor 2 years back was pretty freaking cool. And
yeah, and it looked great.
I'm really looking forward to playing it. I want to run around as Arthas, damn it. Beating the crap out of Kerrigan. It's great. It's great, man. It's like the Avengers versus the Justice League. Come on. Get on it, Blizzard.
Get on that. Just not Blizzard All-Stars. Avengers
versus Justice. No, let's not. Because it'll just end up like that Mortal Kombat game.
Because who wants Resident
Capcom?
Evil. Yeah, Capcom, that's it.
Oh man, Resident Evil, such a bad. There's so many avenues I can get off on. Oh, please! If there's nothing I can do to Resident Evil fans that Resident Evil hasn't already done to Resident Evil fans.
Oh, I agree with that.
No, there is that. Something with a little more substance to it this week, though. StarCraft 2.0.4 has been released, and this is the big granddaddy of all patches that's coming out and preparing us for all of the new systems coming in Heart of the Swarm, and actually just straight up giving us a lot of the new systems that were coming with Heart of the Swarm. So we've got the new UI, the one that, Kyle, you've been joking about. You've been playing so much Heart of the Swarm that when you go back to Wings of Liberty, you're like, how the hell do I join a game?
Oh, I just sit there and Farnsworth yell.
Farnsworth yell.
What are all these buttons? It's so nice to have it cleaned up, honestly.
Right.
It looks great. It doesn't yet have Kerrigan hanging out in the middle of it, lifting her psychic ball and with the little robots in the background, but we'll get there.
Yeah. We've got the launch of the in-game clan and group support. We've got a StarCast group and an A-Move TV clan for us, Kyle, and I'm sure CVO's rocking theirs.
Yeah.
I hope so. I've been really bad. I haven't logged in the Wings of Liberty this week yet, and apparently they launched our group locked, and I have to go in and unlock it, and I keep forgetting to do that. I just come home, I'm like, it's time for Heart of the Swarm beta. Oh, wait, I need to go into StarCraft 2 and be responsible. But, yeah.
Well, that was real cool of them to make sure we could reserve StarCast rather than having someone take it over.
Yeah. Yeah, indeed.
But at this point, there is the clan stuff, there's all that. You can see what people's ranks are while the matches are loading up. But there's also a little warning we need to give anyone who's just going to dive straight into a game. If you don't go to the menus and turn on able to select enemy buildings, you won't be able to select them at all. And this is not such a big deal with like Terran, and maybe if you're real good at like judging size, you can be like, well, there's a forge and there's a gateway. But otherwise, you can't select enemy buildings. I don't know why this is an option. At first, when I got into Heart of the Swarm and it was already built into the beta, I thought, ooh, wow, what a huge game changer. Now I need to like constantly scout and make sure I'm looking at a building I saw 30 seconds ago to make sure it turned into what I thought it was. How neat. But no, it's just a weird feature to maybe help players who so they don't overload players with new information.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about this a few weeks ago when they were talking about how they have the new kind of learning mode where it takes you in. It like you don't get all the hotkeys at once and introduces one hotkey at a time. You cannot. At the beginning, one of the things they mentioned is you cannot select enemy units. This is so. I mean, think about it, when you're a total noob, you don't really understand that there's certain things you can't drag, select, and then control. So this does make sense for completely fresh players.
Sure,
but as to why it is on default is beyond me.
If there's a system with like the laddering AI where it slowly turns on more features and notifies you of that, that'd be cool. But again, when I was in my game for the first time, I'm trying to select the Zealot to see if he has +1, and I don't know. It's kind of neat. Yep. I'm sure a pro player would be like, that Zealot can be in 2 hits. I know it has +1 now, but...
Yeah, just go into gameplay options, though, and check that.
But there's a lot of really cool features they've added. I really like some of the health bar things they've done. It used to just be turn it always on or always off. But now you got things like selected. So only the units that you currently are controlling will show the health bars. Or so enemies only show health bars.
Yeah, which is pretty great. Although I still think most of us still want to display all, because you would want to see your own for microing purposes. You want to see your enemies for target firing.
Oh, and you should do that. I mean, if you're getting into this game, you're learning, make sure you turn those on. You'll be amazed how fast your brain tunes that out. It looks awful when you first go, it's such a beautiful game, and you're just taking a crap on it with these big blue and green bars. But your brain just ignores it eventually. You'll get used to it.
It makes learning the game easier. It kind of helps your play. The big thing, the new replay features have been added. So now you can watch replays with friends. Thank God.
And you can do this right after the game as well.
Yep.
I mean, it's just a cool feature that the button is there waiting for you, as well as a play again, which I really enjoy because, play a few games in a row. But while you wait, you're still staring at the score screen. And there's tons of new information there. If you haven't been in the beta, some of the charts you can pull together, the sort of achievement-like averages they have built in when you finish a game, like average APM. Oh, and has a little exclamation point saying, you did better than you've ever done, or you were supply capped less than you were on your previous game. That stuff's real cool.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. You can also, of course, take command of the game from a replay that you're watching. You can just jump in from a starting point and just start playing, which is very cool.
You do need another player. Yes. Otherwise, if there is no other player, it assumes they left and you win the game.
Yep.
You cannot single player this
So
and like
just-
add an AI in there.
It's just like, congrats! But there's going to be just, again, the coaching options now are just so much better than they ever used to be.
Yeah.
Uh,
Which it's neat. They gave us a little fun feature of this and uploaded some pro replays that you can test out.
yeah. Then they got a bunch of multiple editor improvements. There's going to be new matchmaking options. You've got training mode, versus AI mode, unranked play. This is all live. This is all stuff that definitely could have been like in the box for the expansion, but it's here now.
Yeah, I mean, if you're a World of Warcraft player, you're used to this sort of thing. The talents go live a month before. You get some new features. Gear starts getting real weird.
Yeah, well, we're also getting, we're seeing similar stuff in Diablo as well, with the monster power system being added and now the dueling. Blizzard's just kind of rolling the stuff out outside of a box copy, so it's pretty cool. And it's more common in WoW because that has a subscription, so it's cool to see this kind of stuff in a non-subscription game.
Well, and it has the same effect. It's everyone excited for the expansion.
Yep. Yeah, exactly. Thinking about our show we did on Monday, we were just like, man, I'm just having that thing where I just want to play the new game, but it's not out, so I just need to go find a game that's exactly like the new game, but it doesn't exist.
But not too much like the new game, because you don't want to like burn out on it and then be like, I just played this.
Yeah. The Players Near You feature is also live now, which means that like if there's a bunch of people on the same IP, you can find them quickly and easily. This would be good for hey, I'm gonna have a LAN, even though it's not technically a LAN, but you're all in the same area, or you're in a computer lab or something, or you're like Kyle and I in high school, and you installed video games on all of the computers in your high school computer lab. It's gonna
and rename the hotkey or the link homework.
Exactly.
Like we so eloquently and secretly did back then.
Yeah. Then the new customizable Observer UI is up. I have not played with it yet. I can't wait to, though. I really want to get my hands on this and figure out, how to edit it. So I'm really stoked about that. So expect to see like me logged in StarCraft and be like, what is he doing? Why isn't he playing games? I'm just sitting there trying to tweak UI for like hours on end. Like, oh man, I'm in Gold League, but I'm a Masters level UI editor. It is awesome. So that is all going on, as I'm sure a lot of you who are playing are already aware of. So go in there. I need to make Kyle kick me after the show tonight and make me go in and unlock the StarCast group so people can join.
Sure, you'll have to do some optimization though. I found that out when I've been playing mostly the beta. Log in that, take a quick look at something we'll be talking about later in the show, and had to sit there for about 15 minutes.
Okay.
So be prepared.
Gotcha. Also in 2.0.4, we got bonus pool changes, and this was kind of came as a surprise to everyone. With patch 2.0.4, they said that your bonus pool will be expended at twice the rate as it previously was when you play. And this will be offset by a change to the rate at which your bonus pool accumulates, which has also been doubled. So
what?
You're getting a lot more bonus pool, and you're getting it twice as fast, and you can spend it twice as fast. So if you're a more casual player, things just got even better for you to help you try and move up the ladder.
I see. Okay. And if you are playing every day, you're still getting to benefit a bit from accumulating a bonus pool.
Yep.
While it's still going away at basically the same rate. You're just getting more.
Yeah, I mean, the points still go in, like, what they're worth is still the same. Now you have more and you can spend more.
Yeah.
So you just, it's really great. You're obviously going to see, I think, a little more, use out of this if you're playing more casually. But like you said, I mean, now even if you take a short break, you're still getting way more points than you did before.
Yeah, well,
it's a win-win for everyone.
It's kind of confusing because it sounds like, isn't that doing the exact same thing? But it's actually spending the points that is moving you up faster in your ladder.
Exactly. The points are still worth exactly the same. They haven't messed with that at all.
So it's spending more points when you win, thereby jumping you that much further ahead. It's kind of confusing.
Exactly.
It seems like they did nothing at all.
On paper, yes. But since they are still worth the same, you should now be progressing more as long as you are winning. So hey, maybe
Cool.
Discorax will finally move out of gold.
Oh, poor Disco Raz. Well, no, and there's tons of people in bronze who just don't have the time to marathon those kind of games to get themselves out of there.
Well, yeah,
And
I mean, you and I, we know a lot of people now. We've made a lot of friends through the show who are now, they're parents or they have full-time jobs, so they don't have time to, grind out ladder like we did with WoW back in our college days. I mean,
sure.
not that there was a ladder in WoW. I'm just saying that was the drug of choice. Oh, back in my day, we had this game called WoW.
We used to hide out behind the Walgreens and do some WoW.
Wondrous. Also, Heart of the Swarm got a balance update this past week. This is the 14th one, and it's the shortest one. Basically just a nerf to Hellbat drops. The Hellbat cargo space has been increased from 2 to 4, so now you can only fit 2 in a single medevac.
Which is darn nice, because I was
waiting for that.
It was a popular strategy, to say the least, dropping Hellion in, and with the speed upgrade or the ability, the emergency thrusters, to run in right away, regardless of any sort of air defense you might have, particularly as Zerg, because, well, and Terran too, because those will be the only races that don't have a photon cannon that will continue to attack once those units are out of the medevac. And the medevac's healing the guys. Oh, man, it was a mess. They were talking last week.
Yeah.
I think we said that they were going to move it to 3, which meant there was 2 left, which scared the crap out of me because that's room for a Widow Mine, and I did not want 2 Hellions and Widow Mine hanging out in that thing. If you need to drop all that in my base, bring 2 medevacs, please. Respect me a little.
Fair enough. Or like if they're gonna bring 2, man, it could be siege tanks with siege mode really quick because they don't need to research that shit anymore.
Yeah, that's a little odd that the siege tanks are in there, and you're thinking like alien sort of medevac with like the chairs on the side. And I mean, sure, the Hellbat, you drive them in, back them up. You got 4 Hellions back to back, I guess, and like 2 tanks crammed there. But then you turn into a dude, and you're like, then you sit in the chair, and there's no room for anyone else. Who knows what's going on inside?
You could make a drinking game out of Kyle getting hung up on lore in StarCraft on this show.
You could.
Yep.
I think I only do it about once per show, though. So it would be like a shot. It can't be like a sip sort of game.
All right, fair enough. I'll give you that. But also, David Kim kind of took to the forums and gave us a preview of what we can expect to probably see in the upcoming patch change. I should probably stop giving it like this, well, we may or may not see, because every time he says something on the forums, it happens.
Yeah. He's their lead designer, after all.
Exactly. He basically he said that the biggest issue in ZVT early game at the highest pro level seems to be the mass Hellion contain leading into the various potential mass Hellbat combinations right when the armory comes into play. The time between Terran gaining full map control and then converting all their map control units into straight-up power units looks to be too narrow.
Yeah. This is nowhere more apparent than 2v2, because you have huge maps in 2v2, and if there is a Terran on the other team, they spit out some Widow Mines, they spit out some Hellions, turn those into Battle Hellions when the time comes, and they just own that entire place.
Yeah, it's crazy to kind of have this change now where Terran can just be all over the map.
And it's without a flying unit, which is... It just seems so weird. Like, maybe a Banshee, but, those can't attack air, so they're not used to patrol maps. But, man, with the Widow Mine...
Yeah, you've got space control with the Widow Mine and the Siege Tank, but you're not going to leave a Siege Tank out in the open. You can now with the Widow Mine. So you can secure multiple lanes with a Widow Mine, and then you can move around with Hellions. It's kind of really exciting, actually, because for me, that was my biggest trouble playing Terran, was this kind of like, I need to move out, I need to see things, but my units are slow, I'm going to get caught by a Zergling surround, and I'm really excited, but obviously this is kind of an issue, so...
Well, and Widow Mines aren't a tank, and if they do get attacked often, they're able to just burrow in before they die, particularly if there's more than one of them. So this entire week, whenever I fight a Terran, he expands with 3 Widow Mines going there first, kind of securing the place and then flying in, and it's just awful. Or if you're trying to expand yourself, and we know how annoying it is if there's a Zergling burrowed where you're trying to land. Now the Zergling's shooting a rocket out of its ass and hitting you in the face.
Zergling Rocket Ass might be the title of today's show. Just saying. Yeah, no, I don't disagree with you. I'm curious to see. This is the first time he's kind of been like, this is the problem we're looking to address, and then doesn't give us much of an idea of how they're going to address it. So I'm very curious to see what he's thinking.
Yeah, well, he says they're thinking about moving the Hellbat back as an upgrade onto the factory tech lab, which would help with, getting a bunch of Hellions together, getting that map control, and then transforming them into what he calls here a straight-up power unit, which is basically something you can transform into an army. Whereas a lot of your other races, particularly Zerg, it's going to be you have a bunch of units like roaches that you use to gain map control or keep pressure or contain, and you're expected to lose those over time so that you can transition into something stronger. Right now, Hellions, they're great in the beginning. Hellbats, they're great in the end.
Yep. Yeah, but I mean, when they first showed them at BlizzCon 2 years back, wasn't the whole thing that they were saying? They're like, we wanted to make Hellions useful in late game.
Yeah, and
the whole idea, to me, I remember that being the whole where the Hellbat started. Back then, it was called the Battle Hellion. Yeah,
and the whole idea of, well, you said it.
All right, so I'm curious how this is going to change. Kyle, would you like to talk about vengeance? Are you a vengeful soul?
Let me take this down a notch.
Do you have vengeance in your heart?
So, what? I'm kind of confused by this event. So we're getting a new preview outside of the trailer we've already seen. And a lot of people.
What we saw was not a trailer. What we saw was a cinematic, the opening cinematic. When you put in your disc, or let's be honest, when you download the game and it goes live and you boot it up, the first thing you're going to see is that cinematic that we saw a month ago now. That we're still needing towels to clean up after ourselves over.
Sure. And as any true Blizzard fan, you will not skip it, even though you've seen it 100 times. It is now your copy. You will watch it again.
Yeah.
With the lights down low and, get yourself all set up, get your snacks.
Yes, that was a cinematic. What they're calling this here is a trailer, which I find odd, and we'll get into that.
Yeah, I'm probably going to skip this, to be honest, just because I think it's going to be full of a lot of spoilers. Trailer, to me, also means in-game preview.
Okay. Well, I think we have to... Let's explain what's going on first. We're getting ahead of ourselves.
Okay.
Blizzard's doing an online stream on Twitch. It's going to be this upcoming Tuesday, February 26th. It's going to be at 12 p.m. Pacific time. And what they're calling it Vengeance. Or I guess that's the name of the trailer. I don't know. But they're basically premiering a new trailer called Vengeance. They're going to have a show match casted by Total Biscuit and Apollo. They didn't say
which is real sweet.
Yes,
those are a great casting team.
No, I disagree. It's too much awesome British accent, and I need a buffer.
I need an American sitting between them translating.
Yes. Or like every damn show I've been watching, freaking Walking Dead, House, etc., one of them should just be able to do a phenomenal American accent, because all of our American roles are going to Englishmen.
I don't know about that. I mean, I love Eddie Izzard's stand-up comedy, but his American accent ain't so hot, and he's been in a lot of TV.
Yeah, but... no, anyways. Joke over. And then, obviously, they're going to have the premiere of the Vengeance trailer for Heart of the Swarm. If this was... I mean, are they just using a different word? Is it a cinematic? Or is it a trailer? Because if it's a trailer, it makes me think it's like the spot we saw for Diablo 3 when that was coming out, with the words flying at the screen, which you hate, Kyle. You've made it abundantly clear that you do not like that type of advertising.
Yes, I hate it almost as much as I hate when a movie starts and you have to fly through the O or something. The title comes up and then you got to careen through it.
You didn't... Wait. wait a second, because you and I are the same age, and if you mean to tell me that you do not enjoy, as a child, that the opening emblem travel through sequence for the original Tim Burton Batman didn't give you goosebumps every time you loaded that thing up.
Yeah, that was exactly what I was thinking of, and I knew you were going to bring that. That took so long, and I was like, is this the Bat Cave? Where the hell are we? I'm fast forwarding.
Oh, dude, freaking.
I don't even know what the song was anymore, because all I hear is Christopher Nolan.
Oh, yeah, it's Hans Zimmer, dude. It's kind of what he does. I'm getting too off topic. But yeah, if that's what it is, I can't imagine that's all it's going to be. Because why would they make a big damn deal over that? Who cares?
Yeah.
If it's just a trailer, who gives a crap? I don't know.
I mean, they're making a big event of it. It doesn't say how long it's going to go. It's at a weird time.
Well, it's basically at noon Pacific, which will be 3 p.m. for us, for me, 2 for you.
Yeah. So I'm assuming it's going to take up quite a bit of time.
Well, if you're going to have a show match, too, I mean, you have to allot at least an hour in there. And they didn't even say if it was going to be a best-of series or just a one-off. I really don't. I just find it odd. Like you were saying, they can't show a second cinematic because that would be deeper into the story and it would give spoilers.
But they already showed us. I mean, if I really wanted to ruin this game for myself, I could go to Team Liquid right now with my pen and paper and pick out all the different mutations I'm going to get over the course of the campaign. And I've seen 2 missions already, and I've seen a 3rd mission that has a pretty big spoiler, in my opinion, with the Protoss. And what else is there to see? Either that I haven't already seen or that I don't want to see. Yeah.
That's why, like I said, I'm a little perplexed by this. I'll definitely tune in if I can. I mean, I'll be at work. I'll see if I can't throw it on in the background. Listen to it at the very least.
Either way, Twitch is just crazy. Did the whole thing with the PS4, and now they got this.
Yeah.
Tons of events every weekend. That little basement business has exploded in 2 years.
Basement. I don't think they were an offshoot of Justin TV, which is beyond a basement business at that point. But
well, that's true. I was watching Justin TV 5 years ago to catch like The Simpsons, and that was definitely a basement run operation back then.
At the time, yeah. No, it's grown immensely. It's ridiculous. What did you think of the PS4, by the way, just real quick?
I didn't watch the entire event. So
you are, correct me if I'm wrong, though, was like you're a Sony guy.
Yes, I do own
of the holy trinity of consoles. You're a Sony fan.
Of the past generation, yes, I did go with Sony. Before that, I skipped PlayStation 2 and went with an Xbox.
Oh, really? Okay, I didn't know that.
My opinion, well, because I love God of War. That's the main reason, and I took it over Halo because I'd already played 2 Halos, and I was kind of burnt out at that time.
Okay. See, I played 1 and 2 on the PS2, even though I didn't particularly care for the first one. I don't know. I don't care for that series. Really, I don't know. God, really, God of War, that doesn't seem like your kind of game.
I know, right? It's all about the blocking mechanic because they got that down. I can play it on the hardest difficulty, and it is doable, and it is sane. And I'm a big lore nut. Absolutely, it's all about beating up, mythology.
History's not fun unless I can kill it.
Oh, dude, unless you're pushing those middle sticks. Have you played 3? That's the best.
I own it.
Yeah.
I played 2 levels, and I was just like, this is exactly the same as the last 2 games I played, and I stopped.
Yeah. Love that.
And I opted for Uncharted after that. I was like, well, God of War kind of sucked. What's this Uncharted thing about? And it blew my mind. I love Uncharted.
Well, Killzone isn't going to get me.
No, I'm not a fan at all. I will openly state it, send your hate mail. I think Killzone is crap. Not a fan. But I also don't really care for shooters on that particular controller. For whatever reason, having the joysticks that close together, I don't care for analog shooters.
I feel like the computer is a great place for games to try to work in social media, but when I'm on my couch in the middle of the room, I don't want to see updates or what someone else is playing. That's like me time.
Fair enough. I mean, Xbox 360's already had a little bit of that. Like when a friend logs on, I'll be like, boop, so-and-so has come online. I mean, you can disable that stuff, so
Yeah.
that's whatever. I don't know. I think it looks cool. I'm way more excited for it than I was for the Wii U.
Sure. Well, things have been a little weird since the GameCube, and even that launched with Luigi's Mansion. We might be a little old for Nintendo.
I think what it is there's just not a Zelda game yet. Because everyone knows that I will eat my hat every time a Zelda game comes out. There'll be a new Nintendo console and be like, I don't really care. And then a Zelda comes out and I'm just like, I need one now. Get it to me. So there is.
My final thought on the PS4 to just destroy any trolls out there that are saying graphics, processing power, whatever it may be. Dude, come on. It's a dedicated gaming machine. Whatever you buy for it will work in it. I don't know how many hours I have wasted of my life trying to update a driver, trying to make sure some game that is just a little too far over my PC, my previous PC, making sure that could work and like hold on for like an hour before it crashed my entire system.
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, obviously, yeah, everyone's like, oh, that's the big troll comment right now. Is like, oh, my PC's better than that. It's not. It's about creating an ecosystem for developers where they're going into a known quantity. They know what they have to work with, and they know that then they can now push it from there. And great games will come of it. And of course, there's going to be games like Bungie's Destiny that are going to be console only for whatever reason.
Well, in the chat room's talking about, controllers versus PC. I agree. There are games that I do not want to ever play with a mouse and keyboard. Preferably, third-person, non-shooting games.
Yeah, I recently started playing The Witcher. I tried playing with a mouse and keyboard, and I wanted to gouge out my eyes.
Oh, my goodness. Awful. I downloaded whatever that Chinese program so you can emulate your PS controller into your computer so I could program it to that so I could actually enjoy the game. Anything basically with a block mechanic.
Yeah.
I don't want to have to press shift.
Yeah,
and then you got like run, shift, crouch, and you're like shift, crouch, slide, jump, and it's just, it's a cluster.
I think you hit the nail on the head by just saying third-person games.
Yeah.
If it's a third-person game, even if it's a shooting third-person game like Gears of War, I prefer two analog sticks to a mouse and keyboard. If it's an RTS, no.
Yeah.
StarCraft 1 on the Nintendo 64. Who were talking about? We talked about that last week with Vibe, didn't we?
Yes, we did.
I think we did. I know this came up recently. Oh my god. Man,
Universe of StarCraft came out.
It did. Well, sort of, kind of.
The pre. What's that called? The
pre-launch.
The forward.
It's called the Chronicles of Fate. It's not the full game yet. It is out. You can play. You can play all 4 classes. There's currently. Or all 8, technically 8, but there's 2 factions, 4 classes per class. It's very much broken down similar, to WoW style, which if you're MMO nuts like Kyle and I are also kind of excited about this. I have not tried this yet. Have you, Kyle?
I have. Make sure when you're looking for it, because you'll look for a real long time, all you need to search for is universe, because in the game it is called SC:universe. If you're looking for Universe of StarCraft Universe, you're never, ever going to find it. It is clearly, kind of pre-release time for them. There's a lot of features that aren't working. There's lagging controls. I mean, it looks cool. It's got a great kind of world built around it. And if you've played an MMO, you're already set. It's cool to have, I started as a Templar and have my number 4 button be Psystorm. And dropping that on a roach that was 2 times my size was pretty sweet. And it was cool to be, on that level in a StarCraft universe. However, if you've played World of Warcraft, if you've played nothing but like maybe Guild Wars 1 and what was the Warhammer MMO, this might be the most amazing thing you've ever played.
Are you like shitting on Warhammer and Guild Wars 1?
Well, Guild Wars 1, it's hard. I've got a lot of nostalgia for that. It was my first MMO, so...
Me too. Guild Wars 1 played a lot, I think. I would almost say it was closer to Diablo than it was to WoW.
The most exciting thing about this is the fact that these guys put a lot of lore into their world. I mean, this is explained in the first 5 seconds of the game, so I'm not spoiling anything of their particular universe. But in their world, the hybrid succeeded. Kerrigan was killed, and the world was completely overrun, and now sort of like a Terminator Salvation kind of world built in a mine is the last bastion of the Terran and Protoss. And you are questing to see, what's going outside, but be careful because the hybrids are always around.
That's cool. So they kind of J.J. Abrams it, like with Star Trek. Like, God, there was a lot of lore and yada yada. I don't know how I can crack this world. I know what. Alternate reality.
Exactly.
Clean slate. That's cool. I'm down with that.
Well, and it's all voice acted, and they got similar sounding modulators. They used some Blizzard clips, like for real classic characters, like when Tassadar's ghost would speak, or the Overmind does a line, and Zeratul talking. They take that straight from the game, but they actually went through and found an echo, so that sounds like a Marine helmet's down, and they've got some good characters. They did some good writing for it. I would be surprised if these guys haven't been offered a job.
Cool. To work on Titan, which totally isn't a StarCraft MMO.
No, but we know you can add all your own custom noises and do custom art into the game, but they actually did. No one's really done it to this extent, and it gets me kind of excited for what can be done in the game. Other games could take this. I mean, we were talking about this nearly 2 years ago when they first unleashed the campaign editor. Someone said, we're going to do World of StarCraft, and then Blizzard went, no, you aren't. You're going to name it something else.
Yep.
It's a little close for comfort.
Yeah. So the 4 classes you can play as, you said you played as a High Templar?
Yes.
Well, as the Protoss, you can also play as a Preserver, a Dark Templar, or a Zealot. I'm assuming the Zealot's going to be the tank.
And you make a character, and it saves your character and saves where you are. It's pretty intuitive, and when you get going, you select your kind of augments, kind of like your talents, and each talent will give you either like a big ring on your back, or like a funky face mask, or different blades on your hands. It's pretty customized, and to see that sort of thing implemented in the game, kind of like a lot of people have been wishing for, is sort of a random generator. Like, some Marine has kick ass written on his shoulder, and the other one has like a skull, and that sort of uniqueness just in the generalness of units gets me real excited.
Yeah. Yeah, indeed. I don't. Have we talked about how it's only single player right now? That's kind of the big caveat at the moment.
Sure. No, we haven't mentioned it.
I don't think we mentioned it. Yeah, right now it is only a single player game. But get in there and test it out, because I'm sure they could use the feedback. Also, as Terran, you can play as the Marine, the Ghost, the Medic, or the Firebat. Yep,
don't play a Medic. You kind of get crap damage abilities and wait for the team game to come out.
Yeah, exactly. Are there trees like in Warcraft? Like, can you be like? Does the Medic have a damage tree, or is everyone just they are what they are and that's it?
You select your hero, then you select what your kind of spec is from the get-go. So
Okay.
you can be a medic with kind of a damage oriented feel, or it's more percent based. And to make that feel more unique than just this spec gets 25 bonus healing and only 10% damage, whereas the other one gets 50% damage and only 5% healing. They give you that sort of custom face mask or back piece or whatever.
Yeah. Okay. All right, then. I got you.
As far as custom games go, I mean, this is as far as it's gone, and it's good to see.
Yeah. Yeah, it has. So, again, that's Universe of StarCraft. And what'd you say you had to search again? Just
search Universe in the arcade.
Okay.
And they have a login and create an account on their website. That's to give feedback or anything. You don't actually have to register or pre-download anything. I know for myself doing, custom campaigns in the past, Warcraft 3 or even Brood War, something of this size would have required me to install additional files into the game. But it's all in the arcade. It's a huge file, but it downloads rather quickly.
That is badass. Very cool. The GSL is still going on. The Code S, it is now into the quarterfinals, so we're almost over, man. The final Wings of Liberty GSL is almost said and done with.
Yeah.
and it's getting down. We had this past week, or just last night actually, we had Innovation play against Symbol. Symbol ended up taking it in a 3-2. We also had.
Well, of course he did. No, actually, wait, no, not of course he did.
Innovation's been playing very well.
Yeah, but I Symbol's one of the Zergs I look for, and that was really exciting. However, this was the one I was really thinking of, was Curious versus Parting, and that was a huge upset.
Yeah.
Because Parting's been smashing face for basically the past 3 GSLs.
Yeah, he's been really on top of the game, and he got 3-0'd by Curious, which is just crazy.
And it was just, Curious has always had this energy about him. As a Zerg player, he's just everywhere, always has a pack of lings hanging outside the front of his base. And Parting is so methodical with his building placement. It seems like nothing could ever go wrong for the guy, but Curious picked him apart, and it's a great series.
Yeah. So now there is only one Terran and one Protoss left, and they're both playing tonight. Teja, the last Terran, will be facing off against Sulky, and then MC, the final Protoss, will be playing against Roro. I don't want to see ZVZ finals or the final Wings of Liberty GSL.
No, that would not be good. But this is a nice representation going into Heart of the Swarm. It's cool to see 2 Zergs, 1 Terran, 1 Protoss.
And for that Protoss to be MC.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, the guy, it doesn't really matter how much crap you talk when you're as good as MC is.
And when you sat on the GSL throne as long as he did.
Yeah.
So,
I don't know how MC does it, because he always seems to push out with such strong yet predictable builds, but they are just so methodical and full of math, I guess, that they always win.
Well, the thing has always been that he has so many builds, and he's so good with all of them. It's like, I've been playing a lot of Magic lately, so excuse this this analogy, but it's like having a well-shuffled deck of cards, and you know when to pull out the proper card. I've got some right here, as a matter of fact. They've been my busy box for this episode.
Well, and I mean, that's what I'm saying. Like, it looks like he always does the exact same thing every single time, because it's always perfect looking.
Yeah.
Perfectly constructed. And when he moves out, he's always got Zealots in front, the sentries hanging in back. That immortal push that he does is just terrifying.
It's scary stuff. So best of luck to him. I would like to see both Teja and MC make it out. No offense to Sulky and Roro, but the Zerg I'm rooting for already made it through. Symbol. So we're good. These other 2 Zerg can get killed off. I'm fine with that.
Yeah, he's been floating around for a while, but Roro has certainly taken the GSL by storm as a newcomer. Teja, though, has been playing so well for so long and hasn't made it. It'd be cool to see him take it.
Yeah. I'm definitely rooting for Teja. But I would not be disappointed to see Symbol or MC win.
I think we won't be disappointed as long as we don't have a ZVZ final.
Yes, it'll be good. Any way it shakes out, it should be good, as long as I don't get a mirror match. So,
well, and just the energy that's going to go into this, because this is the final Wings of Liberty GSL.
Yeah. Also, this is technically older than the week old, but we didn't talk about it last week because we were just we were in an awesome discussion with Vibe. But Kyle, did you see the IPTL game between MVP and Team Liquid?
I did not get a chance to watch it. Of course, I am super excited. And as we've talked about in the past, I don't watch team leagues very much. But all kills get me so excited no matter who takes them.
Yeah, and in this case, it was your favorite. He just, bam. TLO took the first game, and then DRG came up to bat and ran through the whole roster of Team Liquid. Yeah, it's crazy stuff, and we're nearing the finals for IPL as well. Next Tuesday, EG plays IM in the semifinals. That'll be the next IPTL game, and then the finals will be played at Las Vegas. So keep an eye out for that. We have many emails because we have been neglecting them. Because we've had weird weeks where we've had to pre-record stuff, and we've had very specific time slots where we've had to have people off the show by. So we apologize for not getting to your emails, but we've got quite a few. We're going to get to them right now. And if you out there, I'm pointing to you, listener, viewer, however you're digesting this pod content, you can send an email if you want to ask us something, say something, scream from a rooftop, something StarCraft related or not. You can do so at starcastshow@gmail.com. That's the email address to send stuff to. Our first one comes to us from Mickey Jackson, who wanted to weigh in on the conversation we had about a month ago on the definition of a casual gamer. And he said he's found this whole discussion incredibly interesting. And he said, in his opinion, that there are pro gamers, even amateur gamers, and yes, casual gamers, but he believes that he is a community gamer. The definition, in his opinion, being a feeling of fellowship with others as a result of sharing common attitudes, interests, and goals. Which I find that interesting. That is a cool extrapolation upon the discussion we've been having, Kyle, because I think we would definitely fall into that category, because that's kind of how we got started with this whole thing. Yeah,
absolutely. It's an involved sort of gamer. The casual one kind of wanders in from time to time, sees how things are going, but never really gets that involved. Community gamers, I feel like, are the ones who are constantly involved but may not have the time to play the game. However, that can also be kind of scary because as the community has its own ups and downs, you are along for that ride and may not want to play at certain times.
Yeah, it does.
If the doomsayers are out in force that week.
Oh, whatever. Well, it depends on your community, too. We don't really have doomsayers on the StarCast forums.
No, not on the StarCast forums. But Blizzard proper forums always have their
I don't think he's saying that a community gamer is one that just like, oh, I'm on the official forums. I don't think he's talking about. I think he's talking about the smaller sects we get into. You know, we were going to have groups and clans in StarCraft, guilds in World of Warcraft. I guess there really isn't anything like that in Diablo. But back in the day, we used to just do everything via clans and forums before any of this stuff was integrated into a game. So, I mean, I was in a clan for the original Counter-Strike, back when that was a free game, that was just a mod of Half-Life. And
finding people, you had to have your own websites or friends actively at your house.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm constantly trying to recapture that, LAN party feel.
And the older you get, the harder it is.
It's so true. And
I guess it also depends on where you work. We both have jobs with where the majority of the people deployed at said location do not understand our world, our mind, or anything of that nature. So it's not like we're going to be like, hey, dude, you want to come over and play some StarCraft? And it's going to be like, what? I don't have a computer.
Here in the city, no one has a car. We all have public transportation. So getting friends over with their desktops doesn't happen.
Oh, that's a good point. I never thought of that.
I don't think once I saw a kid heading to the arts college downtown with his full desktop on his lap on the train, but that would be it.
God bless him. That kid is my hero. That kid's great. Would you just start singing?
My hero. Watch him as he
goes. Oh, okay, Foo Fighters. All right, I'm down.
Yeah.
I'm down. I thought you were singing Enrique Iglesias.
No. Does that have a hero song? Don't remind me then.
I can be your hero, baby. And that's as far as I'm going to go.
Yeah.
Sarna Kyle also wrote in this week and said, hi, I am new to StarCraft and I have been watching some esports lately. Of course, as I watch the matches, I have no idea what is going on. So, I picked up StarCraft 2 to help learn to play, and now I'm completely hooked on the story. My newfound love for the game has led me to your podcast, namely episode 137, in which you happen to talk about new players and ideas for the show. While I am learning as I go in single player, if you guys would have a back to the basics section, I would really appreciate it. Also, if there are any great references to videos or sites about learning the game that you know of, that would be useful. Thanks for listening, and I'm enjoying the show so far. No, thank you for listening. You can thank me for reading. Yes.
It is kind of daunting right now. If you are looking for Heart of the Swarm how-to videos, well, the Blizzard official site has some, but the Oracle's still putting shields over minerals, and some things are kind of screwy. In the pictures they have listed, Widow Mines are still sacrificing themselves on every attack.
Yeah. Don't. The lesson I think Kyle's trying to say and just isn't coming out and saying is don't watch the official Blizzard ones if you want to learn anything. If you just want to see all the shiny pretties, go right ahead. I always recommend... Well, he's playing Wings of Liberty. That's what he has right now. So for him specifically, I would recommend go watch Apollo's tutorials on his YouTube channel. He has race-specific tutorials. I believe all of them have 5 parts, and he basically tanks his ladder rating, gets placed in bronze, and works his way up and kind of shows you the basics and then extrapolates upon that. And it's a fantastic series. I recommend it to every single new StarCraft player I come across. Other than that, Day 9's always a good place to go, although at this point, if you're going to go in, you're going to need to know some of the terminology, so I would probably, again, start with Apollo.
Yeah, and Day 9 has been going for quite a bit, so he has a rather rabid fan base, and it can get a little steeped in his own personality, his own inside jokes, because the show's been going for a while.
Well, even when I first watched him, he was already 100+ episodes in, and I remember just being like, this is very personal. I was like, I didn't know how. I remember there being a time where it was my first time watching Day 9. I was like, I don't know what's going on with this guy. Like, it's almost too casual.
Well, it is called The Daily after all. I mean,
yeah, exactly. But of course, since then, it's just his demeanor, and it's really freaking entertaining. To the point now where people like my girlfriend, who have no interest in playing StarCraft, will sit down and watch a daily with me, and she laughs and just finds it fun and entertaining to watch because he's such a good personality.
Oh my goodness! Check out his newbie Newbie Tuesdays from last week, I believe, where he did Nidus Worms and Heart of the Swarm. It was hilarious.
I haven't seen that. I've heard good things though.
Good stuff.
I'll have to check that out.
He does a good 5-minute impression of Nidus Worms vomiting. It's delightful.
Good to know. And then also, I mean, we've gotten multiple emails now from new players kind of hoping for us to do a Back to the Basics. And you're in luck. We have something in the works that we can't necessarily announce yet because we don't have everything locked down, but we will be doing a series of episodes post Heart of the Swarm launch with certain pro players that I can't announce yet that will be... Basically, we're going to have race-specific episodes kind of taking you through and bringing things back to the basics. We will, of course, be taking questions from you guys, the listeners, and everyone. And if we do it live, we'll be taking questions from the chat room as well. So once we have times and dates locked down, we'll give you a more solid announcement. I can just tell you that yes, we will be doing quote-unquote noob-episodes again come Heart of the Swarm. Quite excited.
Super excited about this. It'll be right after release, so... As you're getting into the thick of it, as you slowly make your way out of the campaign and go, that campaign didn't teach me much. It taught me how to be awesome and how to run around as Kerrigan. But, I mean, I don't expect the Oracle to work as it does now in multiplayer. They've been working on a campaign for, 2 years with the Oracle shielding up minerals.
Yeah.
That's what we're going to see in the campaign.
Another one of the emails in here, I'm not going to read the whole thing, just a big shout out to Gio, who also wrote in with a very similar email kind of asking for some help getting into the game. He's new and needs some tips. So again, Apollo videos, Day 9, and we'll be doing noob-episodes very, very soon.
Yeah, and if you haven't heard of it, I mean, you have Liquipedia. It's the Team Liquid kind of Wikipedia. And that's great for just getting an understanding of which upgrades come from what building, why you should get certain upgrades against certain races. And with these noob-episodes, I mean, we'll touch things that are a little more specific, such as what maps you should downvote when you're playing as Protoss.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. And they've got good stuff builds, and I don't put too much stock into learning build orders, but sometimes when you're just completely flying blind, it's not a bad idea to just look one up and use it as a building block.
No, I mean, if you have a lot of experience with strategy games, you can kind of just wade in and play against the computer for a bit and get an understanding. But looking up a good one base, sort of all in just to get going, probably a good idea.
If nothing else, you might be able to pull it on your friend, win, and then you'll feel good. And then our final email for the day comes from...
And I love Gio's signature. Terran, Hunter, Bounty Hunter,
And Demon Hunter.
Bounty Hunter, though, that's not a Blizzard game. Is that?
No, I'm assuming he plays Star Wars: The Old Republic.
Oh, that could be. I was also thinking Dota has a Bounty Hunter.
They do?
Yeah, it's a stealth character.
Oh, okay. I didn't know.
One of the heroes.
Gotcha.
I just wanted to ask you what your signature would be in this case.
Me?
Yeah.
Well, it'd be Terran, Paladin, Sith Warrior, even though I don't play that game anymore, and Barbarian.
Nice.
Yeah.
Got
and I also play Call of Duty, so Assault Rifle.
Noob cannon. Zerg, Priest, Wizard, Ancient Apparition.
Okay, there you go. Oh, and Drow Ranger, if we're including Dota.
Yes, if this bounty hunter is that. Otherwise, I went with Inquisitor.
There you go. Last email for the day comes from Ronaldo, who says, "Hey, Kyle and Garrett, just wanted to give you my thoughts on what I think would make a successful StarCraft show." Really? I want to hear more. He said, "I am modeling this sort of after The Ultimate Fighter." Oh, he's talking about our discussion from 2 weeks back about a esports-related reality TV show. Okay. I thought he was just talking in general. I'm like, where's this coming from?
No, when Blizzard kind of let it slip that they would like a reality show to bring esports into the mainstream.
Hey, don't lump all of Blizzard in with what Chris Siggety says off the cuff. I'm sure there's people at Blizzard who are like, no, please no. That's kind of how I feel. He said, "I'm modeling this sort of after The Ultimate Fighter and the sci-fi show you guys obviously don't watch, Face Off." Excuse me, sir. I do watch Face Off because my girlfriend watches the crap out of Face Off, so I have to see it by proxy.
I looked it up for Ronaldo here, and I enjoyed it quite a bit, but oh man, the reality show tropes. I don't really know if that, when they say, and the winner is, if they actually pause then, or if they just insert footage of people looking around as they do through the rest of the damn conversation.
I'm pretty sure they just insert footage, much like all of the cooking shows, when the timer's going down and it's showing them like barely have food on their plate. They don't cut it that close. It is edited to make it look like they're cutting it that close. Anyways, back to this.
Either way, an impressive show. I mean, it's cool to see the monster effects and
the
these straight up failures that show up.
Yeah.
But you always wonder in those shows, when they're selecting the cast, clearly they're picking equal failures and awesome winners.
I want to know if the main judge on that show looked as douchey before the show.
You mean the one with all the piercings and long
yes. hair? Did he look that contrived and stereotypical before the show? Or did they hire him and say, all right, dude, this is a reality show. You need to look like a bigger freak?
Yeah, the only thing they could have added is like a chain to his wallet and a Black Sabbath t-shirt.
He really did look like the late 90s, early 2000s, like, goth metalhead kid.
Yeah, the kid who was obsessed with horror movies, always wanted to tell you about which Nightmare on Elm Street was best.
Yeah.
Anyway, God.
Anyways, he explains that Face Off. He says Face Off is a competitive reality show where 16 up-and-coming movie makeup artists essentially create new creatures every week until one gets a contract with a makeup company and wins some sort of money. I like that, some sort of money. He said, seriously, guys, when you have time, go check it out. Because aside from the restaurant show with Gordon Ramsay you mentioned, I did not mention the restaurant show with Gordon Ramsay. I mentioned the restaurant show with Robert Irvine. Gordon Ramsay gives me gas. I can't stand listening to him yell. He said all of those other shows were generic reality/love shows which have no place in a competitive environment in the first place.
I agree with him. I mean, Face Off is a good representation because it is only about the competition. Did you ever see that? It was hosted by the Mythbuster guys, but it was about building a marble machine.
No.
A fantastic contraption, basically. And so they loaded up guys like in a junkyard. Well, Junkyard Wars was similar. You ever watch that? Or Robot Wars or any of those where there's a deadline goal and it's not about going back to the house and watching them bicker.
Okay.
Teachers punching Snooki in the face.
But how would you... What would the challenge be other than to just play against each other? Like, you have to create a build, and then we'll test the build and see how the build works. And I think it would get too meta and not be watchable by a broad audience.
Sure, yeah, no. For us, it'd be pretty exciting because you would get to see the coach and the player sitting together, going, "Your next opponent, so and so. Let's watch some replays, pick them apart, and maybe even like flashcards going on, like, oh, that's his build, that's his build. No, that's not his build."
Yeah.
There could, but yeah, I guess you could have like APM contests. I don't know, like a big bar, 12 points to Gryffindor.
I don't know. I think we kind of exhausted all of our ideas last time we talked about this, but the general theme I like. If we were going to do a show where it is one where it is just the task at hand and not, like you said, Kyle, going back to a communal home and everyone just bickering.
Yeah.
That I would be more into that. Like I find Face Off cheesy, but I of all the reality shows, I do find it to be one of the more watchable ones because of that reason.
Well, and everyone has consumed a lot of movies, and we all love practical effects if you're a movie nut. So it's easy to relate to. That would be the hard part, is making StarCraft tangible to the average watcher. Because we can all judge music. We can all judge, a monster makeup looking good. Yeah. Because we've seen that in movies. But unit control, APM.
Well, that's the other thing about those type of competition shows is it all, like, whatever the case be, there's some kind of baseline of judgment, and everyone likes to be a critic. So we watch Face Off, and we find it interesting because we get to turn to whoever we're watching with and be like, oh, that one looks great. Oh, my God, that one looks like crap. Like another show I watched by proxy and actually like, surprisingly, is Project Runway, and it's the same kind of thing. You're like, oh, well, that looks cool. Until they get to super high fashion, I'm just like, my brain switches off. I'm just like, unless it's a Lady Gaga concert, no one's wearing this shit.
Derelict. That's all I think of.
Yeah. But I'm not sure what the baseline thing would be for StarCraft or any sport for that matter that would bring in the masses that they could relate to, that they could themselves understand and judge and have a talking point with a friend over.
Yep.
I think if you figure that out, you could have a good show on your hand.
All I really want to see is that booth they're in, up on stilts, about 10 feet in the air, and they walk under it, sit in the chair, and the chair raises up into the booth. That's all I want right now. Add my fireworks later. Load up sweet into that booth.
I don't know about that one.
Gundam style. Not Gundam style. Gundam.
But they walked into a chest. They weren't raised
up. Yeah,
up
but it's still like folded up and like did some stuff. Opening that door that looks like it's made of paper isn't doing it for me.
Fair enough.
So you that little wiggle, little fabric wiggle, and you're like, and then they're like sitting next to it's a noise machine, so that you have the earphones in, and then you have the headphones over those, so you can hear the game, and there's a little, some white noise to.
Well, there's also usually like an AC unit or something in there.
Yeah, exactly. But it looks like a humidifier or like an air purifier or something. It's just adding to that nerd. Like, oh, my asthma's kicking in. I'm getting so nervous. Like, mask that thing. Add some blinking Star Trek lights on it or something.
All right, you just want better production values.
I just want them to deck out those booths. Make it sweet, futuristic.
Get the Mythbusters guys on it, man. They can build some sweet stuff.
Like when your base takes damage, it's like, oh, you have to like jerk your head as aliens gas comes shooting into your face. Like sparks fly like Power Rangers style out of your chest. Ah!
Oh no. Wonderful. Well, we've got some questions for the chat room, and anyone else in the chat room, if you'd like to shoot in some questions, do so now. G Slavic asked, "Do you see a future where a sport's success relies on the manufacturer for all the mechanics and rules?" Then he said, "So you will be doing something. Thanks for the announcement. We gave you as much information as we could. Come on."
No, that was genuine. There was a bit of a pause between that. I just copy and pasted the whole thing.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Well, I mean, does it really matter who makes the rules? There's rules, and there's going to be rules. I don't understand how Blizzard creating the rules is any different than whatever governing body creates the rules for any other sport.
Yeah, the thing about, sports, in person, as it were, those rules are so kind of like lost in the mist. They're just famous, and we don't really know. You assume some guy was standing around.
You don't know.
Well, yeah, I'm sure I could find out.
If you were to sit with my girlfriend and watch a football game, she calls a penalty before the ref does.
No, but I'm saying like why it's a penalty, or why clearly it used to be a pigskin, but now it's a ball. Like why does the basket have ropes on it? It doesn't do anything other than, slow the acceleration of the ball so it doesn't go rocketing into the floor and shooting into the audience. But it's still kind of a random fact of the game.
Right.
Like not standing in the penalty box. The one shot I ever made in high school basketball, my teammate was standing in the damn box for too long. It didn't count.
Was this like gym, or were you actually on a basketball team?
No, I was on a high school basketball team.
Really?
Yeah, no, I shot up. I was 6'1" at the time.
I did too, but I avoided sports like the plague.
I didn't even have to try out. They were like, "Oh, 6'1" guy, come on." Their mistake.
Gotcha. I don't know if anyone here has seen Kyle run. It's not a graceful thing.
I actually learned something about that because I was watching, what was it? Mission Impossible 4? What? Ghost Protocol.
Yeah, that's 4.
Watching frickin' Shorty McShortenson,
Tom
Cruise try to run as fast as the leg can carry him is the funniest thing in the world to me. But that's because short people running is all about strength, and you got to have body strength to go fast. Whereas when you're tall, you literally, and this is true, you lean forward and the weight of your own body propels you because you have so much angle that you can give that your legs just try to keep up. And that's why tall people run faster.
Kyle's random fact of the day. Yeah, we'll have to work on that jingle. Back to his question. Kyle, what do you think?
Oh, will the manufacturers always be making the rules? I think there always comes a time when, yeah, of course they are. And Blizzard makes them, and there's a lot of community involvement, and it's real interesting this past, with this expansion coming, because they've had this exclusive forum where they've been talking with the pro players to make sure it's balanced on that high end, as well as making sure it's enjoyable for the low end people. But eventually, like Brood War, it just gets established, and it becomes everyone's rules. And no one can argue with anymore. It's just what it is.
Also, within a video game, there's really a lot less avenues to break a rule. You everything that is allowed is in the game. You can just whatever you can do is allowed, short of in the physical realm, standing up, opening the door, breaking the door off, and beating the crap out of your opponent with it. That is against the rules. But everything happening in game in the actual competition itself is fair game. Short of certain restrictions with chat, as we've seen with Pro League and stuff like that. He also, in the chat room, is talking about manufacturer in the case of StarCraft also has restrictions for the leagues, and then he says broadcasting.
Sure, one of the kind of rules you could say for StarCraft is the format, and if Blizzard really didn't like a format, thought it was stupid, they could just not license to them.
Exactly, I mean... Yeah, there's still a governing body, and there's like the NFL still handles licensing, and there's broadcast rules with them. I don't see a big difference from that.
Yeah, and he mentions the SCV drill trick kind of, and I get what he's saying, and I think you're absolutely right. At least that's how I always played games, because I played Pikachu in Super Smash Bros, and that throw was OP as crap, but it's in the game. It's in the game. They allowed me to do it. It's in the game. And they're constantly updating. I mean, they don't just throw it to the wind, and these tournaments have to decide for themselves what is unconstitutional.
Yeah. I don't know. If the question is, do I think it can be a success? Yes, I do. I don't see a I don't see a large difference between this and any other sport. So, and NFL doesn't own football. Okay, I'm just saying there's still licensing and broadcasting things within real sports, just like there is with StarCraft.
Yeah, if he's asking if the tournaments themselves will ever change the rules of the game for their tournament, no, unless it's something wacky like making DRG wear gloves to play. Well,
yeah, I mean, it depends on what you think a rule is, because we've already seen GSL change things in the game. For a while, they were getting rid of gold patches. Gold patches are now back in the GSL, but they also have a Zelnaga tower that dies after 8 minutes.
Yeah, that's true. But those are map changes.
Exactly. I mean,
maps are extremely important to StarCraft, though. In fact, I don't feel like we spend enough time talking about maps when they come out, because as the game gets more perfected, then it's going to be always about the maps and how balanced those are.
Yeah.
Interesting conversation.
It is. Yeah. Also, let's see. JJ Flans asks, how do you think the Heart of the Swarm campaign will end? Kyle, it seems like something you were chomping at the bit to answer.
Not happily, I'll tell you that much.
You think we're going to have an Empire Strikes Back ending?
Yeah. I mean, Kerrigan's got to stay because clearly the world explodes and dies if she doesn't. But we got to motivate her. We're going to have to get to at least the edge of the point we were with the sort of what was that in Wings of Liberty when Zeratul showed up with the crystal? That was his memories, right? So that already happened, or was that a prediction?
It was a prediction because remember that last mission did not happen. That was the end of the universe.
Right, and you had to hold out for a certain time just for game's sake to enjoy the end of the universe.
Certain things were current, like that first mission where you're going through the cave with the stalkers was...
Right, and where he
did
fought,
happen.
Yeah, when he fought infested Kerrigan, that happened.
Yes, that was where he was basically unlocking the prophecy.
Right, and he had to get Raynor to understand that so that he would save Kerrigan rather than destroy her with the...
Exactly, which honestly I don't think he needed much reasoning. He kind of had the hots for her to get to, from the get-go.
Yeah, but in his mind, this artifact was going to help to destroy her, and he had no other alternative. This presented him with that hope, letting him, know that that woman laying on the floor with her hair still messed up could still be his previous love.
Yep. Or, more importantly, the savior of the universe.
Yeah, so I think we're definitely going to have a standoff of some kind. Maybe even, we could even have a moment where we prolong the inevitable. So we actually get to that point, perhaps, where the Protoss would have been invaded, but because the Zerg are in full force behind Kerrigan, we have a success, but it's kind of bittersweet because all we've done is delayed them.
That's interesting.
Kind of
I like that idea.
Mass Effect relay at the end of, or the kind of expansion DLC in Mass Effect 2.
Oh, I didn't play any DLC for 2.
Oh, well, that was basically, yeah. You destroyed a relay that would have made it super easy for the Reapers to come in and destroy everyone.
Oh, that's
thereby making it a longer road for them, and 3 made more sense.
Gotcha. Okay. All right. Well, that's cool. Now I really agree with you. I was originally going to say I think we're going to end on Meg's death.
We could, and that could be it. We could just roll him over and prepare for the final assault.
This great war, the big picture.
Yeah. Which I'm guessing is going to be a lot like Warcraft 3's ending, where you had control of all 3 of the races at once, and you hold it together. You're going to need
that'd be so badass.
Under the command of the new prince. We've been given a prince who seems to be cool with Raynor and wants to work with him. So clearly, Dad's out.
We still don't know a whole lot about him, though.
No.
How much it is for his own purposes. He could still be doing this for completely selfish reasons.
But I don't see him betraying us in this game. Because that's kind of Raynor's story. And either Raynor's going to live this one. Either way, Raynor's going to get messed up. Either psychologically, physically, encased in carbonite.
Okay.
I don't think there's a happy ending for Raynor. Kerrigan's got all the superpowers. He's got a Marine suit.
Yeah. You think he'll die? And you think that'll be the catalyst for Kerrigan?
I don't know. But tell me before Diablo 3 that Deckard Cain was going to die.
If he hadn't died, nothing else would have been interesting.
Well, that's a comment on the game, but still, the idea of that character leaving us is huge and absurd.
Yeah.
But Blizzard's shown that they're pretty cutthroat about that sort of thing.
I already hate them for introducing Tychus and then taking him away after the first game.
Well, we'll see about that. I'm still hoping for infested Tychus gets glued into the wall.
Gotcha. Johnny the Crow asked, what other games do you play besides StarCraft 2? What are you currently playing, Kyle? You still playing Faster Than Light and XCOM?
I don't play too much XCOM anymore, sadly.
Okay.
I haven't beaten that. The problem is I often set goals that aren't the end of the game, so then I reach those goals and I go, oh, well, I beat the game in my mind. So I got past the part that was giving me a lot of trouble, which was the first alien base. And now that I'm past that, I got kind of bored because I played it so many damn times. Right now, I'm super into Faster Than Light. I mean, I've been watching quite a bit of Star Trek recently. I wouldn't say I'm a Trekkie because I got into it so late. But
what series?
Just the original series.
Really? Ooh, rough.
Oh, it amuses me. I love that just campiness. I mean, Picard amuses the heck out of me. I grew up watching Voyager because that's what was on UPN for free because I didn't have cable. So I watched quite a bit of that. But Faster Than Light just tickles that all power to the shields, maximum warp need
Gotcha.
I have.
Gotcha. I have not gotten into Trek. And I don't think I can. I really don't think I can. I love the movie, the most recent one that came out. And I've seen, I really, really enjoyed Wrath of Khan also. But I just have really no interest in getting into the series.
You know what really helped me to get into it is imagine the world as so full of deadly weapons that negotiation has to happen. That's why there's so much damn talking. Because literally, if they opened fire on each other, everyone would be dead. Other than ships because they have shield, but like person to person. I mean, the show is about negotiation. Have you watched like the Night Gallery, old Twilight Zone episodes? Like
Twilight Zone, yes. I love old Twilight Zone.
Things like that can help you build an appreciation to Star Trek, the original series.
Gotcha. All right. Maybe I'll give it a try. I still have so many other things. I'm still working through Doctor Who. I have not caught up yet. Working my way through season 6, I think. I don't know. The first season with Matt Smith.
Other than that, I'm always playing some Dota. Basically, right now, Chris and I's weekend regimen is game of Dota, game of Magic cards, movie. Lunchtime, game of Dota, Magic cards, movie. Dinner.
That's
a good day.
Badass weekend.
Saturdays.
That's a good Saturday. It's a very good Saturday. I honestly haven't been playing much at all. I'm playing a little StarCraft, and then I'll log into WoW on I don't even know what night, Tuesday nights, and I'll do a 2-hour raid. And that's like it lately. Like I said, I started The Witcher last month. Got super busy. I'm really wanting to dive back in. It really tickled me, like in a good place. Like, ooh, this is like being in Game of Thrones with fire. It's super adult and violent, and sexy, and there's spells, and it's a gorgeous game. It runs really well on my doghouse system. So I'm definitely going to that next. And I've been playing the whatever the Magic game is on Steam because I've recently been getting into Magic. Duel of the Planeswalkers. I've been playing that because I've recently gotten to Magic. So that is a damn good way to learn the game.
Yeah, I'd say because Steam always tells you how many hours you played a game. I'd say every hour I've played of that game, I have been watching GSL during it. That is my side screen during GSL.
Gotcha. Johnny the Crow, who asked the question, is in the chat room crying. No PlanetSide 2? I don't care for it. Have you tried it, Kyle?
I haven't actually played it.
I don't really like almost anything about it. Like, I don't find the guns to be satisfying. I really, really dislike the look of it. Like, I don't know. I was really excited for it, and then I got in, and I was just like, really underwhelmed.
I've been wanting to try out. What's the big game that you keep doing overlays for?
Smite. Yeah, I really want to get into that too. I've done a ton of work for people who play the game, but I haven't played it myself yet. Working on a big project with Patrick regarding Smite at the moment.
Well, and I'm looking forward to BioShock. I'm gonna give it that 2-week barrier just to make sure it's not crap. But BioShock Infinite's looking pretty sweet. I've been looking forward to that for a while.
Yeah, I have no interest in buying that right away, but yeah, it does. Damio asks if have we ever played any Magic the Gathering tournaments? I have not yet. Like I said, I'm very new. But my buddy Ben, who actually hosts with Kyle and I on our other show, This Week in Blizz, he's the one who got me into Magic, and he lives near me. We're going to probably do a draft tournament when he gets back from his vacation.
Absolutely. Drafts among friends are one of the best times I've ever had. And I go to a local draft here in town every once in a while on Friday. The place is called Dice Dojo. They do a big, open draft.
Dice Dojo? That is an awesome game center name.
Oh, yeah. And I mean, it's the Chicago sort of gaming store. It's, city store. It's huge. They just updated. And drafts are just a blast because everyone's on a similar page. It doesn't matter how much money you've spent. It comes down to some luck, but for the most part, everyone starts on equal footing.
Yeah, and for casual players, I think like us, like that's the way to go. Because when I first started getting the game, I was like, oh my god, I could spend like 50 grand and still not have the best deck. This makes no sense.
Well, and you could have the best deck in the world if you spend 50 grand, but only for the next 3/4 of a year.
Yeah, exactly. I mean,
because then it moves out of limiter.
I mean, every time I get a booster, they're advertising the next day. I'm looking for it right here. I forget what the next expansion's called, but there's already one coming out in a few months.
Well, Gatecrashers just came out.
Yeah, which is what I've been buying. My Valentine was awesome. Katie just got me a couple really expensive beers and then just a bunch of boosters.
That's awesome.
It was wonderful. But yeah, there's that. I think that's the show, Kyle.
Yeah, I think we did it.
We
did it all by ourselves.
When we start talking about draft tournaments and Magic the Gathering, I think we've moved far enough off the topic of StarCraft that we can indeed close the book on this episode of StarCast. So there is that. Let's start the outro. If you have not left us a review in the iTunes store and you listen to the podcast, it is the best way to help us get new listeners. Please head on over to the iTunes store, drop us a review. We'd really appreciate it. StarCast is a production of amove.tv. Go to amove TV, bookmark the page, check back often. We have many shows over there doing awesome stuff. Go check it out. You can see Kyle and I's other show, This Week in Blizz, over on amove TV. You can head over to the StarCast.com. That's the place to go for our forums, our archives, our new t-shirts that you can get at slashloot.com, the StarCast shirt or the Stim Shades Marine shirt. Go pick those up. You'll look awesome and support the show in the process. You can catch us live every Thursday night right here, 8 p.m. Eastern Time on amove.tv/live. And you can email us, starcastshow@gmail.com. All of the emails we just did came from that email address. Send them in. You can follow us on Twitter. The show's Twitter is at the StarCast. You can follow me at Garrett Art. You can follow Kyle at Kyle Ferguson. And big thanks to our production crew, Octane Pro and Captain Noobing. Octane schedules a lot of our guests, and Captain Noobing edits the wonderful audio-only podcast edition that so many of you listen to. And finally, head on over to nomoonart.com. That is my online web portfolio. If you need any design work, stream graphics, that kind of stuff, take a look at my work. I'm always available for freelance. Kyle, what are you following this week on your other show?
On Biggest Fan, this past week we followed House of Cards, the Netflix original series, while talking about, a la carte programming and all that sort of thing. And this next week, it's a doozy. It's Stephen King week. And in Biggest Fan, if you're not familiar with the show, me and Brock and Vola have 1 week to basically digest a fad or a big topic and report on it, give our impressions, say if we're going to keep up with it. We've dove into things that we have no right doing, bronies, Kim Kardashian. Check out some of the back catalog. Yeah, Twilight. There's some fun episodes. But this week is Stephen King. So I'm going to be watching a lot of movies this weekend. I'm going to start up the Dark Tower series, which I've been really excited to read for a long time. Yeah. I know that's not Stephen King proper, but
it's one of his most beloved works. It definitely has one of the largest followings.
Absolutely. But it's not like when you think Stephen King, King, lives in a haunted house Stephen King, you don't think Dark Tower.
Yeah, exactly. And that's on my my list. It's very high up on my list. That and Ender's Game are on my next to read list. Unfortunately, I have a fat stack of Walking Dead books to burn through first. Not unfortunately, I've been really enjoying it. So much better than the show. Holy crap. Holy crap, the books are so good. Oh, there's no random, just like... you don't look at any of the characters and go, why did you do that? because I constantly am doing that on the TV show.
Yeah, well, it's human drama.
Yeah.
You bring a lot to it. I mean, I've loved the graphic novels I've read.
Yeah. Big thanks to our sponsors, doghousesystems.com, tweakedaudio.com, and SC2 quote of the day. Our code is StarCast. It gets you double memory on your next Doghouse Systems gaming rig. It's what I personally use. I love it to death. Like I said, I've been trying to give myself time to play the damn Witcher 2, which is a gorgeous game, and it runs beautifully on my Armor TL from Doghouse. So go check them out.
That's saying something, because that game is taxing.
It is.
And it was independently developed. I mean, it was using the BioWare engine, but when you put that thing up to high screen, I mean, my computer can't take it, and I'm proud of this baby I built. So that's speaking highly of Doghouse Systems.
It really is it's a beast. But they're still doing their Kerrigan Ghost Rifle promotion as well. They're giving away a life-size replica of Kerrigan's Ghost Rifle from Wings of Liberty. If you want to win it, you can also use the code Kerrigan in conjunction with our code StarCast. So you'll get double memory, and you'll also be entered for a chance to win this life-size prop replica of Kerrigan's Ghost Rifle built by Punished Props. That same code, StarCast, to get you 30% off and free shipping on your entire order of noise-canceling or noise-reducing earbuds from tweakedaudio.com. I would argue that they are entirely noise-canceling, because Katie tries to talk to me when I use these things, and I can't hear shit, and it's wonderful. Not that I don't want to block out my girlfriend. Oh, damn, she's going to listen to this, and I'm going to be in trouble. That's not what I meant to say. Not at all.
Just needs a little reducing.
Exactly. But like I said a million times, I love these things for working out, because it's just like zone out, just put on some wonderful music. Not dubstep, not a fan. So,
just had to put that out there.
Exactly. Not what I dig. So there is that. And head on over to SC2 Quote of the Day. We love them. Follow them on Twitter. That is their moment to moment awesome StarCraft quote goodness. It's at SC2 Quotes. Make sure you follow them, and go to their website, SC2 Quote of the Day, and buy a t-shirt from their store. We got some great designs. So we thank them all for their support. Guys, we will see you next week as we move dangerously close to the heart of the Swarm launch. Until then, good luck and have fun.
Take care.